I want to call the December 1st, 2016 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting to order. If you would, bow your head in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the gifts that we receive from you. We ask that you watch over the men and women who serve in our armed forces as well as all emergency responders. And I ask for wisdom and understanding for this court. Grant us humility in our everyday life and give us the courage to make right decisions for our Daviess County community. And tonight I especially ask your blessing and your favors for those folks in the Gatlinburg area and in Alabama that was hit with tornadoes last night. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, I want to welcome everyone to our December 1st, 2016 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting. Before we get started, I want to recognize Jailer Osborne. Jailer, welcome. It's always nice to see you outside of your abode down on East 60. We also have Commissioner-elect Larry Condor with us. Commissioner-elect, it's nice to have you. Jenny, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Item 1, consideration for presentation, A, Treasurer's Report for October 2016.
This is nothing more than a presentation. It's on display. Does anyone have any questions of the Treasurer regarding the report? Next item, Jenny.
B, Daviess County Public Health Taxing District's financial audit for year ended 6/30/2016.
Again, this is a presentation of the audit for the Daviess County Health Department. I can tell you that in the coming year, they voted to keep the tax rates the same. They're doing a very good job over there in paying off that building early, and I hope to see us reduce I think it's a special 1 cent tax to help pay for that building. If there are commissioners, any questions or comment from the public. If anyone has a question, then you're welcome to come to Daviess County Fiscal Court offices and take a look at it. Next item.
Item 2, consideration for approval, A, minutes of the November 14th, 2016 court meeting.
Move to approve.
Second. I have a motion second. Commissioners, you had a copy of the minutes in your possession for some time. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
B, all claims for all departments.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, Commissioners, you've had a copy of all the bills due and payable by Daviess County Fiscal Court in your possession for a while. Do you have any questions of the Treasurer at this time? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
C, the following 2 lease agreements, West Daviess County Water District and Q Wireless, and City of Whitesville and Q Wireless to install repeaters for enhanced emergency communication.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have Paul Nave, the Director of the EMA Services. Can you come and talk to us about why we need to do this?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, Judge, thank you.
Paul, is the little green light on?
It is.
Okay.
Am I not loud enough? Is that better?
That's better. I've been listening to loud Christmas music all day long here at the courthouse, so.
Great. The 2 lease agreements are a necessity for us to put equipment onto the 2 towers in the said districts, one in the Whitesville district and the other in the Molesville district, to improve communications. We have a grant to put the Whitesville equipment in. We're just needing approval to get the lease agreement so we can put the equipment on the tower. We're in the process of getting the information from the state on the historical and environmental studies for the Whitesville project in order to get the grant approval. Once we do that, then we'll proceed with getting the equipment and getting the equipment placed on the tower for the Whitesville. Now for the Molesville, it's a brand new tower that's out at that location, and we do not have the equipment at this point, but we're getting the lease together so in the future of next year we can get funding from the court to get that project, and that would be the last receiver site in the county.
Okay. Is this the same thing that we just did out at Utica? Is this
Exactly
what we're doing so that we will have, I always call it repeater, but you call it something else.
The receiver station.
A receiver station, so the handheld will go to the receiver, and then it can be moved on to the local EMA office, I guess.
That's correct.
Okay. Commissioners, any question or comment? Question or comment? Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
I would just want to publicly thank Paul for all the work that he's done on each of these locations. We had the one out by Ben Halls Park, and we had the one out toward Yellington since I've been on the court, and the Utica one we just did, and now moving on with these. And I just want to thank you for being persistent in each step of the way.
Well, thank you, thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, and Paul, as always, thank you for everything you do. You're very thorough and very persistent.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge. I take that as a compliment.
It was meant to be. If there's no other question or comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. If you don't have anything else, go home and eat supper.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
D, Davis County Detention Center's Policies and Procedures Manual.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Jailer Osborne, you're here. You want to come up and just speak to this for a bit?
Yes, sir. Judge, Commissioners, thank you for having me. And, you know, it's just a standard routine thing that we do every year. There are some changes in the Kentucky administrative regulations as far as jail operations concerned. Nothing real significant. A few upgrades in our PREA policy, I think that's in there, and a few upgrades in our inmate manual. So otherwise, nothing significant.
So really, most of the things that we see deleted or inserted are required by the state.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Commissioners, any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And you can stay up there. Next item, Jenny.
E, pay RWRA for.
No. Oh, we do have E. Why don't we, let's see, no. D. Did we do D?
We just did the.
Okay,
Do we
I've got
not
an
have to do
employee
each one of
handbook.
these? Or,
Do what?
I said we have several of these things to,
I've got an employee
Policy and
handbook.
Procedures Manual.
so they're
It's
all.
Is that all?
Yes, all
Okay, well,
encompassing.
that was my fault, Jailer. Let me take the opportunity to thank you for what you do for this community. It's a tough job. You do it very well. You always have the prisoner's best interest as well as the Davis County taxpayers' best interest at hand. So, thanks.
If I could.
Yes.
I just want to take this opportunity. You don't show up in front of us as often as the sheriff does. I don't know why that is, but we've thanked him. We've thanked him publicly for his professionalism in working with us, and I want to do the same with you.
Thank you.
And as all of us have said before, when we go to the conferences, and sometimes we hear horror stories of how the fiscal courts work with the other elected officials, including their jailers.
Sure.
And we've never had any incident like that here, and I want to thank you for that. I know it's due to your professionalism, and I thank you. The other thing that this last conference that we attended just a week or two ago, they spoke at length about our problem with the number of people that we have that suffer addictions that are in our jails, and I know you've been out front with coming up with programs for our inmates, and I want to thank you for that. And you know, I've been to a couple of those graduations you've had. They're always very moving to see people whose lives are truly being transformed by being able to get back with their families. And but again, at the conference, they actually had, I think, the guy who's the top jailer guy, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know his name, that spoke at our conference, and he spoke to that as an issue that we really need to address statewide. So thank you for what you
Absolutely.
do.
It's an epidemic, as you know, and some counties are much worse off than us. But,
Right.
and as far as the relationship, certainly I appreciate and enjoy the fine relationship I have with you all as fiscal court. And were any comments about the work project?
That's on there,
Okay.
Jailer. So that'll be after this next item. So if
Okay.
you just have a seat for a
Okay.
second. Okay, Jenny, I'm sorry.
Did we vote? Motion passed and approved?
We passed that. Yes,
Okay.
we passed.
E, pay RWRA for Cedar Hills sewer extension design and for Friendly Village Park service during treatment plant receivership.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Smith, do you want to explain this?
Yes, sir. Regarding the Cedar Hills portion, as you know, they will be taking over receivership of Cedar Hills, and they will need to begin design work for extending sewers out there. They will not be able to apply for KIA funding until a year from now. So in order to keep this project moving along, the fiscal court has in the budget that we've already approved $1 million line item called surplus from prior year's infrastructure. That $1 million has been set aside at RWRA's request in case there's ever a major issue that they have to deal with. Like example, another Frederica Street collapse, that they would need a short-term borrow. What the judges, or what this item is to allow them to access that money in order to do the design work. When they get the KIA funding next year, they will then pay the fiscal court back.
And what, that amount of money, whatever the amount is for the design work, will be against that $1 million, meaning that if there were a disaster, they would be able to.
It's not going to cost $1 million to design this.
No, but the point I'm making is, there's $1 million there and design is $100,000. We now have $900,000 that will be in that account to take care of any catastrophic failure that we might be able to allow them to have on a short-term basis. They in turn would pay it back.
Right, I believe that's correct, isn't it, Treasurer?
It's one way to look at it.
Okay, that's the one way we're looking at it right now.
Okay.
And we've done this. We have set that $1 million aside because back when there were some rate changes in the way we computed rates, one of the issues that RWRA had was the need to maintain a certain fund balance. And the question I had was, what if the city and county were to put up $1 million to guarantee that money on a short-term basis, always to be paid back? When I say short-term, it takes a while to bond, it takes a while to borrow. We could make the money available. They could proceed in a timely manner with the project and then pay us back. And it saved the citizens of this community some money on their rates. So, and fiscal court's happy to do that. Any question or comment?
So how much are we talking about here for this particular project?
Less than $200,000 is what they're estimating design.
And they will pay us back?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, they know that.
In other words, Commissioner, if you recall on the whiteboard when we were looking at all those costs, the design and all engineering and those things were in the cost, and that would be paid by their KIA loans. So it absolutely is a payback. It's a short-term loan.
Do they know that?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
They absolutely know that. They're the ones that ask us for this.
Okay.
And they have confirmed with KIA that they are allowed to pay us back with that loan.
Yes.
That they are allowed, when they apply for the loan from KIA, they will say X amount of dollars is to be repaid to the fiscal court. And KIA is aware of it and they're fine with it. Then I guess are there any more questions on the Cedar Hills portion?
Any other questions?
So you're saying the 200,000 is just the Cedar Hills?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's one pot of money.
Any other? Okay.
Then on the second part regarding Friendly Village, and I think the judge will even have more discussion, is you all are aware that RWRA has been granted receivership of both of these sites, including Friendly Village. In the process of meeting with them, we have always been committed to giving them coal severance money. It turns out they probably need the coal severance money some of it during receivership, as opposed to after receivership. In both of these cases, the reason why we're needing court approval is the treasurer cannot issue checks without court approval. And so we're asking for approval. We still have to go through a lot of hoops to get this coal severance money, but we're at least setting from our budget standpoint that they can access this coal severance money. I believe the amount, treasurer, is it $25,900 or $25,500, something like that. What do you think, sir? Yeah, I think it's $25,900 a year out of the coal severance fund. We still have not accessed that because we have to go through a process to get state approval to release that money. We have it in our budget. We can't spend it till the state releases it, though.
Okay. Any question or comment about that portion?
So how much have we given for the,
24,000, gosh, I think it's $24,900.
I don't have a problem with it. I think we're all committed to these projects 100%. So I don't want to give the wrong
I
impression.
understand.
I just like to make sure I understand.
Understand exactly. No, we understand.
What we're
So
doing. I'm not opposed. In fact, I'm all for it. I think it's something we need to do.
and this will be made in 2 payments a year. We won't have to give them a single check of this amount. We'll make payments, I believe the treasurer and I have discussed, in February and August. So the first check we will release, assuming we get release from the state, will be in February.
Mr. Treasurer, it seems to me, I recall where we approved the use of those coal severance funds back a couple of meetings ago, and we talked about the hoops we had to jump through. Commissioner, if you recall, you had a question. We've got to send a letter off to all of our representatives to get their approval, as well as Senator Bowen, to get their approval for use of the money in this form.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Any other question or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
FMOA with KYTC and the Daviess County Detention Center regarding an inmate work program.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Jailer Osborne, you're on again if you want to talk about this.
Well, thank you. And I'm asking your approval for this project that we were approached by the Kentucky Department of Transportation to participate in which we would provide them a crew of inmates supervised by a deputy jailer, and they have offered to rebate all costs involved to the county, any fuel, mileage on vehicles. We'll have a deputy jailer there. They'll reimburse all of his pay, including his benefits. They will actually furnish per diem to feed those inmates every day. There will be 5 inmates normally involved, and they will go out every 5 days a week to wherever the state highway department determines that they have a need, like in weed eating around fence rows, picking up litter, basically what we already have with our county work crew, except they'll be doing things that the state asks them to do, and that's why we'll be reimbursed by them. But even on bad winter days, they said they could possibly use their help at the site over there on Fairview Drive, installing grater blades and things like that on their equipment. So it sounds like certainly a win-win for us and Daviess County and the citizens. So what we get is 6 more people out there for the price of 1, and the inmates also benefit certainly when they get to work. They get time off their sentence. For every 40 hours they work, they get 1 day out early of the prison or whatever the sentence is. These inmates are, as far as inmates go, minimum security type crimes, cold checks, drugs, things like that. And they're actually classified by the State Department of Transportation as level 1, which is the least serious of inmates. So those will be the kind of people out there. And in addition to that, I screen them personally and then somebody else. Not to say that they won't ever make a mistake, but we haven't had any problems with our county crew, and that's why we've been doing it now for years. So I think it'll be fine.
Jailer, you and I met with the State Transportation Department and went over all these things, and they were very easy to work with, but there was some question, I think, initially, because didn't we do this in the past? Didn't we provide these teams?
Yes, sir. Years ago, there was a team working for the highway department. They were completely unsupervised. There's no deputy jailer. And so I think they probably caused some problems and didn't take care of their equipment.
Right.
They had them out driving tractors on the bypass, mowing, and we're not going to do any of that. Right. Even with my deputy there, they'll be not operating no tractors or driving any trucks or anything like that.
The point I was making is this is completely different now. They've listened to the jailers throughout the state, and
right.
They've changed it, and I think you're right. It's win-win for everybody concerned.
Right.
Commissioners, any question or comment? Yes, sir.
So the only compensation for the inmate is his meal every day, and then after 40 hours, his sentence is
Well, no,
reduced?
sir, it's a good question. He gets 63 cents a day.
Huh.
But the state will pay them 63 cents a day, and that doesn't sound like much. But when they get that check at the end of the month, they want it, because they can buy commissary items and like that. So, yeah, they get that. And they get to learn some skills. A lot of these guys that we get from, especially, say, Louisville inner city, they've never even run a lawnmower. So they're gonna learn all kinds of things.
You applying for a job?
63 cents.
Yeah.
Who sets that rate?
Department of Corrections. Yeah.
Any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Jailer, now, thank you, and you can go home and have some supper.
Thank you all. Thank you.
G, order of affiliation agreement with Daviess County Search and Rescue. This is an annual agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second. Commissioners, you have a copy of this order. To my knowledge, there is no difference between the order this year and the order last year. In effect, it's an agreement between the search and rescue folks and the County of Daviess, and it outlines the responsibilities of both parties. Any question or comment? Question or comment by the public? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
H, apply for the 2017 Kentucky Department of Agriculture's Spay Neuter Grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. David, what's the value of the grant? Do you know?
We don't know yet. I think it's something that they will determine later.
Okay,
Although
but this is one that we apply for.
we apply for it every year.
Every year.
In fact, I have a feeling we'll be, at the next meeting, we'll be accepting the grant.
Yeah, Jenny said typically it's been about $1,000, and I was remembering $1,000 to $1,500, so.
And as I said, I bet at the next meeting, I bet we approve acceptance.
Okay, good. Question or comment, commissioners? Question or comment, public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I, award bid number 6, 2016, Micrographics Services for the Fiscal Court.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, the fiscal court received 2 bids. The bid submitted by the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives is the lowest and best evaluated bid, having no exceptions to our documentation. I recommend award in the amount of $2,006 for the plastic boxes and $1,263 for the books.
Question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
J, award bid number 31, 2016, County Government Website Development, IT.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, the fiscal court received 10 bids. The bid of WebLinks Incorporated is the best evaluated bid, having no exceptions to the bid documentation. It should be noted they are the next lowest. Recommended award in the amount of $16,000 in addition to the unit rates presented on attachment A. And it should be noted that these unit rates are for recurring hosting and maintenance fees and additional development by WebLinks Incorporated.
Question or comment?
I'm excited about getting a new website.
You know, this
Move ourselves right into the 21st century.
well, maybe you can look for a job worth more than 63 cents a day.
There you go.
This is really something that we've been talking about doing for 6 years since we took office, and we finally gotten around to it, guys. So I'm kind of excited too. Any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
K, advertise bid 5, 2017, Judicial Center renovation.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Commissioners, as you know, we now have a new family court judge. They need space in the Judicial Center. There's going to be some changes that need to be made. I had a phone conversation, the treasurer and Joe Paul Biggett and I, with AOC Tuesday, I think, to just go through some last minute things. And now we're at the point of where we want to go out for bid. So this is a request to bid only. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
L, award bid number 1, 2017, engine oils and lubricants. It's an annual bid.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, the fiscal court received 4 bids. The bid of Bustler Enterprises is the lowest and best evaluated, having no exceptions to our documentation. The county's major cost drivers from this bid are the unit rates for the 55-gallon drums of engine oil, the bulk per gallon, and the hydraulic 46 lubricant. Bustler's rates are 8.44% lower than current for the bulk per gallon, 13.3% lower than current for the 55-gallon drums, and 18.46% lower than current for the hydraulic 46 lubricant. I recommend award for the attached rates.
We've used Bustler in the past.
Yes, they are our current vendor.
They are current vendor. Okay. Any question or comment, commissioners? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
M, award bid number 2, 2017, bituminous hot mix and pavement milling annual.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, the fiscal court received 2 bids. The bid of Yeager Materials LLC is the lowest and best evaluated, having minor exceptions to our bid documentation. Yeager's bid rates are roughly 2% lower than current in regards to the major cost drivers to the county. I recommend award for the attached rates.
Question or comment? I saw the county engineer over there grinning real big. He can pave some more road, right? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
N, renew bid number 3, 2013, and 3, 2016, mowing of county right-of-ways annual.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, the rates and quality of service of the vendors who are currently servicing these bid agreements have been found to be acceptable for an additional term and are subject to renewal. I recommend renewal for the term starting January 1st, 2017 and ending December 31st of the same year.
Mr. Engineer, let's get you involved. I heard Mr. Johnson say that their work was acceptable. We had no problems?
No,
issues?
we had no problems. We were very satisfied with the service they provided.
Okay. Question or comment?
I think I asked this last year. Who determines when they mow?
We've got a set schedule. It can be flexed by weeks, depending on, excuse me, depending on the weather. We do have the capability of flexing it, adding a week or doing it a week late, but we have a set schedule. It's real similar to the highway departments.
I think we saw a lot of that flex this spring and summer, didn't we?
We did.
But just to be
Yes.
clear, all the real tall stuff on the bypass was state, not us, right?
That is correct.
Right.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other question or comment? What part of it belongs to the city that we get blamed for? I just, with the commissioner-elect out here, I wanted to involve him.
I'll have to get you a list.
Okay, thanks. Any comments or other comments or questions? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
O, purchase low flow pump equipment landfill.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, the fiscal court received 3 quotes regarding the low flow bladder pumps for the groundwater monitoring wells located at our West Davis County landfill. Silenced is the lowest and best evaluated quote. They met all of our expectations, preferences, and delivery schedules. I recommend to purchase this equipment in the amount of $10,256 from Silenced.
Commissioners, this purchase was brought on by, I think, the last time that the Division Water inspected the wells, and some young whippersnapper didn't like the system that we had for taking samples, and he wrote our manager up, even though that in our operations manual and our permit stated that we were allowed to do that. But I think the old equipment is 20 years old, so it's not something that we want to start having trouble with, so it's probably a good investment. Any question or comment? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
P, release surety bonds for commercial warehousing unit 1, sidewalks, storm sewers, and water mains.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Mr. Engineer, you get to talk.
Yes, sir. If I may begin, there is a correction, that $1,283.80 is not for concrete sidewalks, it is for surface asphalt. We have reviewed the work done by the developer and have approved that it meets our specifications. I recommend approval of this release.
Question or comment, Commissioners? Question or comment by the public? There being none, I'm sorry. I didn't see you, Charlie. You gotta make a noise.
I gotta make a noise,
Yeah.
okay. Just want to ask, we've talked before about when we have developers and they have to make sure, and maybe this is an old one and we don't have the flexibility, maybe this is a wrap up of a project, but to where we make sure that we have enough
Surety.
surety, but on other things that we don't get, down the road, that we don't release things when we're leaving ourselves exposed down the road.
Sure.
So,
This is a complete release, so this closes out this file completely. But when someone does touch their surety, we go through and make sure that what is remaining is up to current prices.
okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, if there's no other question or comment, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Q, hire Austin Payne and Max Lanham as seasonal interns effective December 12, 2016, Department of Public Works.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Commissioners, I think we've done this for a couple years. These folks, didn't they serve over the summer?
They've served a couple summers.
Couple
and a winter.
summers and during the Christmas break. These are college kids looking to pick up a little bit of cash as well as some experience in the field that they're working in. So, any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
3, consideration for discussion. A, other business to be brought before Daviess County Fiscal Court.
None?
I'm not aware of any.
Okay, next item.
B, public comments.
This is a time during our meeting in which we ask the public to come forward to the podium, identify yourself, and you're welcome to speak on any issue other than what was on the agenda. Thanks for attending the meeting, Larry. Next item.
Comments, Daviess Fiscal Court.
Commissioner Wathen.
Just comment that the light show is on out at the Panther Creek Park. Anybody wants to go out? I think it's only $3 a car, so.
All right.
It's on.
It's on. Commissioner Gaslin.
I was just going to speak to Commissioner Coger's absence unless you were intending to do that.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Coger told me he was in Nashville, that his wife had knee surgery and that they had to stay over an extra day, and that's why he's not here. So I want to wish her a speedy recovery.
Keep her in your prayers.
Amen.
Anything else?
That's it.
Just a couple items, Commissioners. First of all, I had talked to you earlier. I wanted to let you know that Mr. Smith and I went to Frankfurt today. We attended the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority board meeting. The KIA loan for Friendly Village was on the agenda. That's where we're going to take them off of the failing treatment plant, and RWRA is going to run approximately 4.5 miles of sewer out to put them on municipal sewers. That $1.169 million loan, KIA loan, was approved. The good thing about that is that 50% of it is forgivable, which means the roughly $560,000 will not have to be paid back by the citizens that live in Friendly Village. The KIA loan can also be used as our match to the CDBG fund that we're going to apply for. And the loan was at 0.25% interest. So I tried to get some extra money for the court, but I was not able to do that. So that is good news. Yep, we'll get him. That was good news, particularly for those folks out in Friendly Village. We are moving forward with that project. The second thing that I wanted to comment on is that, you know, in recent weeks and months, we've had some acts of vandalism and actually racism in our community. And I just wanted to let the citizens of Daviess County know that Daviess County Fiscal Court does not, we don't condone that. And we want you to know that we're dedicated to the rights and dignity of all the citizens in Daviess County, and we condemn all acts of bigotry and violence and discrimination. I want to personally extend our condolences to the victims of any hate crime and urge our citizens to respect the rights of every citizen to live without fear and without intimidation. And I thought it was a wonderful statement of community for those folks that turned out to help clean up the mosque out on Alvey Park Drive. Last thing that we have on the agenda is an employee. I'm sorry. Yes. I can speak. Yes.
If I could speak to that just real quick, I attended that community event. I don't know what it was called.
Cleanup.
Well, they had already had it cleaned up,
Yeah.
so they just had kind of a get together, and it was interesting in just chatting with folks afterwards that you know, some of the folks who have chosen to make Owensboro their home from many miles away from here. And over as I talked to people individually, they made a point about how they readily tell people, their friends back home, how Owensboro is the best place in the world to live, and that's why they choose to make Owensboro their home. And it was quite a compliment to I think all of our citizens, and it's unfortunate that we had happen out there what has happened. I think this is the second time. So
That second event in a month and a half,
Right.
probably.
right.
Okay. December, we have an employee anniversary. Jared Mattingly has worked for Daviess County Fiscal Court as a heavy equipment operator for the last 10 years. Jared, congratulations, and hope that you put in many, many more years. If there's no other issues to be brought or anything to be brought before Daviess County Fiscal Court, without exception, we're adjourned.